All right, sorry about that. Let's get into it. Keep doing that. Keep forgetting about the mic. Excuse me. Sorry about that. All right, Mr. Landfill, thank you for the 5x5. I got to get used to that. Because when I run the animated thumbnail, it sound cuts off. So anyway, thank you, appreciate it, guys. All right, Eric, Kathy, Raccoon, Base, Moose, Mitch, thank you for the 5x5. Bajar, Daniels, Adam, thank you for the 5x5. Northern, Water Tiger, Adam again, Mississippi Gulf, Coffee, thank you for the 5x5. Howard, Demo Man Don, thank you for breaking that down. Thank you for the 5x5. Lori, thank you for the 5x5. All right. Okay, all right, all right. Gary, thank you for the 5x5. Supernova, Benjamin, first and last, thank you for the 5x5. So, guys, tonight we're going to talk about, on the Angry Prepper channel, the evil that's coming. I think that that live stream is needed. I'm going to read part of a story now. We're going to talk about it later tonight as well, amongst other things that are going on that are getting exponentially bad between humans. Now, let's forget about the politics for now. Let's forget about, assassinations and possible war and all sort of nonsense. This needs to be addressed. What I read yesterday, and listen, man, I used to be an EMT. I used to watch and read a lot of horrific things. This story is pretty bad. So, if you don't have a stomach for it, definitely skip this part. But we're also going to talk tonight. We're going to be talking about a lot of evil acts and what is driving these evil acts. Again, that's going to be later tonight. Right? Excuse me. So let's get into it. Where are we? All right, all right, all right. So first of all, well, let's start out with these stories. I I saw a story and I heard two different outcomes of the story. And the story goes that some kid was trying to steal, I guess, copper wiring out of a one of those EV chargers. So as he's trying to steal this thing, he, I guess, instead of cutting power to it, cuts into it and gets electrocuted. Now there are two stories with it. I don't know which one is true, but I'm gonna read you some other stories that happened as well. So anyway, he cuts into this. He gets electrocuted. First story is he gets electrocuted and he passes away. The family turns around and sues the company, the EV charging company, for their son passing away. Then there's another story where the family sues, the kid survives, but he's like mentally retarded now, some shit, because he got electrocuted, and they win the lawsuit. No, they lose the lawsuit. The one where he's still alive, they lose the lawsuit. The one where he's dead, they win the lawsuit. So I don't know which story's which, but there are been numerous cases reported in details where individuals been electrocuted, in many cases killed, while attempting to steal copper wire from live electrical sources, including power box and substations and solar charger stations, if you will, like the Tesla ones, right? While sources don't specify any mention of the 18-year-old being electrocuted by a solar charger, they confirm that electrocutions is a common and tragic outcome from people trying to steal shit that doesn't belong to them. And the crazy thing is, this says tragic outcome. Listen, man, if you were dumb enough to cut into something that has high voltage going, Godspeed, man. Safe travels to go see, to God, because I don't know why people thought why would you think that's a good idea? So the one story, one case, a 19-year-old man who was killed being electrocuted after attempting to steal copper wire from a substation. Another one where two individuals, woman and a man, in Phoenix died from electrocution while attempting to steal copper wiring. This has to be meth heads. You have to be a meth addict or a crack head to do this. Crackheads usually survive shit like this, actually. So this is probably meth addicts. But I can't believe that this is a thing. That people, and matter of fact, the case where I told you the story about the 18-year-old, that they couldn't find the source because I was looking for it. Both stories, he was found the next morning, right? So one story he was found the next morning but dead. The other story he was found the next morning but alive, and the ambulance, they called an ambulance to get him. Other story: a man in Philly who suffered critical severe burns after cutting into a high voltage line while trying to steal the copper from a Petco power box, an act that was also knocked out power to fit. So while he cut into the Petco power box, he knocked out power to 1,500 homes and businesses. Again, this was in Philadelphia. I don't know how long ago. A man in Iowa. Raccoon Eyes, thank you for the 5x5 on Rumble. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. A man in Iowa who died after being electrocuted by an electrical source while breaking into a property to remove the copper wiring. Yeah, right? So, I mean, they had to come into them, but I can't believe this is an issue. I can't believe, like, people like, man, this thing is a power source. Let me cut into it. Let's not shut the power down. Let's not shut the power off to the building. Let's cut directly into it. And this is just stupidity. The stupefied level of stupidity that's out there today is insane. These are the things we're dealing with. We're dealing with morons doing moronic shit. Now let's see. By the way, New York City had a Trans Day of Remembrance because of these psych patients who pretend to be something they're not, and that's not even the point. The Trans Day of Remembrance, because it just came up on my phone on Newsbreak app. It's stupid. A couple of them die each year because they fool dudes into thinking they're women. The guys find out that they're not women, and the guys go bananas on them. And then they try to play the woe is me card. Oh, my friend Kathy passed away because some dude beat her up. Well, maybe Kathy shouldn't have lied. These people, the psych issues that are going around with people around the world is insane. The fact that people are dying from electrocution from cutting in the wire, the fact that people are having days of remembrance or day of remembrance for people who are psychologically ill and fooling men into believing that they're women is insane. I've never seen such fuckery in my entire life. Nonetheless, here we are. Mamdani is now backpedaling heavily on his not being able to back his campaign promises. So there's that. There's a lot of stupidity going on in the city. People actually thinking that these people can deliver on their, So now Candace Owens is, just to switch the subjects, Candace Owens has been, they say, spiraling out of control. Here's the problem with Candace Owens, and I said this before. I'll say it again. I'll say it again. I said it before. I'll say it again. But Candace Owens is like new to the whole conspiracy thing. The problem with people who are new to the conspiracy theory, especially at her age, is that they can't cipher through the information fast enough, and she is now seemingly all over the place. I see what she's trying to do, but her brain can't handle the amount of information she's finding out. So now she is undoubtedly, unfortunately, going to crack. She can't handle this shit. This is too much fresh information for her. She's like, oh my God, we've been lied to. This is the Matrix. Like, she's overloading right now. She's in what I call conspiracy theory overload. And conspiracy theory overload is a dangerous place to be. because it's a fine line, and like that you can snap, and you can come over to the dark side and forever be crazy. That's going to be her. She can't handle the amount of information she's finding out. And the fact that now she's bringing the French government into this, the Egyptian government into this, she's looking crazy because she's not able to comb through the information and present it as such. Anyway, with that, she's definitely looking like she's spiraling out of control. She needs to pull it back a little bit. And she's gotten threats from the French government. Apparently, this has been confirmed that she was getting death threats. Yes, live free. Apparently, this has been confirmed, and she canceled the show, and the death threats are real. So I will be doing a video on that within the next day or two. Wait to get more information. My skydive, that Campbell, what you call it? Again, I'm gonna do a video on that. But the what is he? The CEO or vice president of Campbell Soup, stating that he doesn't eat Campbell Soup because that's poor people stuff, and he said that he doesn't eat it anymore after finding out that there was 3D printed meat in there. That's what he said. So he used to eat it. He hasn't been eating it anymore. Now, I stopped eating Campbell's Soup long time ago, over 10 years ago, just because the meat back then wasn't... there was a theory that it wasn't real meat. It wasn't like chicken. It was more like rat meat or whatever the hell it was. Yeah, it was bad, right? Back then. And that's when my wife had... That's when my wife had... brain tumor, and we started looking at everything. Sorry. Had the lieutenant was like, thanks for, I was supposed to do something for the lieutenant at the firehouse. Completely walked out of the firehouse, not doing what I was supposed to do. Anyway, so now I stopped eating it a long time ago. So after the wife got sick, we started diving into all of this food and different foods and what's bad and what's not. So we stopped eating Campbell a long time ago. I am not surprised that Campbell has 3D printed meat in there. And again, the live stream I did the other day, Monday, I told you that they didn't have to tell us whether or not there was 3D printed meat in it. Some companies are starting to tell people there is, but other companies don't have to. There's no law stating they have to do so. So I'm not surprised that Campbell Soup is one of those companies, like not at all. Again, I'll do a video on that, but this is going to become a dangerous trend because 3D printed food, guys, there is no studies, no long-term studies stating whether this stuff is bad or good for us. Now, I'm going to put it all on this video and state that 3D printed food is not good for us and does and will cause Mr. C cancers. Absolutely. I will get blacklisted or what you call the video taken down. I will absolutely say that 3D printed meat is not good for the human body, period. It's not even good for animals. So the fact that they're putting it in there, I definitely can see it causing Mr. C's, without a doubt. So, yeah, don't trust it. And now that Campbell Soup said what they said, you guys got to 86 the shit. Get rid of it, right? It's not worth eating anymore. And the problem is the food sources, guys, is going to get smaller, smaller, and smaller. Right? And that's the problem. Like, people are like, oh, I like Campbell Soup. I like Progresso. I like this. I like that. Now Campbell Soup's out of the mix. Right? Now you only got like Progresso and whatever the hell else is available. Right? They got like a lot of organic shit out there. I'm blacklisted. Is overwhelming. Yeah, I guess. So, listen, the Campbell Soup thing, bad, bad, bad. Not good at all. So, what I'm going to talk about later tonight, I'm going to mention here now. There's undoubtedly something bad heading our way. And at first I was thinking that Get my balls broken as we speak. Anyway, at first, when I read this article and thinking about what's coming our way, I might have gotten it confused with an event. I think what's heading our way is just pure evil. I said before, guys, what's coming our way is going to scare the shit out of every last one of us. It's going to scare us. It's going to be bad. It isn't going to be cool. But with that, this article was the most evil thing I've come across in a long time. Now, granted, there are a lot way worse things going on right now. This is bad. And I'm going to be talking about this in a video, and I'm going to talk about this in a live stream later tonight. The video will probably come out Thursday. Not Thursday, Friday. Thursday's Thanksgiving. Who watches YouTube channels Thanksgiving? You know what? Maybe I'll schedule for Thursday and Friday. But still, I need to talk about this because what they said. What they said in this article is bizarre. But let's get into it. Mom watched as boyfriend SA'd and dismembered her daughter on her 10th birthday. In a shocking child abuse case, a 10-year-old girl was strangled to expiration on her birthday before being dismembered. Her body was then set on fire. Victoria Martins, if I said that last name right, was SA'd by her own mother, according to autopsy report released months after the horrific crime scene was uncovered. Officers responded to a 911 call about a domestic disturbance, only to discover the little girl Victoria's body, partially burned, remained wrapped in a blanket at Michelle's home in 2018. So this is before the arm ticket. Michelle, age 35 at the time, and her boyfriend Fabian Gonzalez, 31, and Gonzalez's cousin Jessica Key, also 31, were arrested at the scene. They faced charges of first-degree murder, child abuse resulting in severely bodily harm and or death, kidnapping, tampering with evidence, and contributing to the delinquency of a minor. Now again, this happened in 2018, so I wasn't going to blame the arm ticket on this, but these acts, guys, of evil are just seemingly getting worse. And my father used to have us read the newspaper. It was one of those things that he did for us growing up. So he wanted us to reading comprehension and just learning how to read and then write reports and things like that. So we would read news articles all the time. He would tell us to look through the newspaper. Whatever article you found interesting, you would read that. And then you would report the article back to him in an essay. He did this for a little while, and it actually paid off. But I do not remember reading stuff like this. I don't remember reading anything remotely close like this. Now, keep in mind, there was a little more regulations, a little more regulated news reports, right? So if stuff like this did happen, they were less likely to tell us about it. There was that. Postpartum, 10 years later, I don't know, man. But still, this kid suffered. The fact that they did all of this to this kid on her birthday, probably thinking, and here's the worst part. This kid on her 10th birthday thought that she was going to have a nice birthday. And instead, the mother did this to her on her birthday. On her birthday. Now, there is, in the demonic world or satanic world, there is something with fear and offing a child. There's some kind of pheromone or some kind of hormone within a child that increases when you off a kid. It's available in adults too, but it's pure in kids. And I've heard this time and time again since I was a kid, that this thing is a sought after hormone, if you will. And this is why people do what they do to kids, to get that hormone up and running. And supposedly, it's supposed to help with like lasting longer, living forever, some nonsense, some crazy nonsense. It's a satanic ritual that focuses on this hormone. I forgot the name of it, but it increases it increases in the blood. Excuse me, not in the muscle, in the blood, and that's why some of these people also eat their victims. This is becoming more and more mainstream, if you will. More and more people are talking about it. Daniel, is that what that is? Is that what the hormone is from that? I've heard of androchrome before, but I didn't know that's how they got that. Again, I've heard about this from when I was a kid. And yes, Northern Hillbilly. I heard that too. Matter of fact, Northern Hillbilly, there is a Hasidic Jew, or rabbi, excuse me, that talked about this very thing in this manner. Though he didn't mention the androchrome, excuse me. He didn't mention that, but he mentioned this very technique. And this video is on the internet. You can find it. You'll find it on X before you find it anywhere else, or Twitter. It's becoming a thing. And the problem, guys, is that while we are watching this happen, we're also watching Christianity being dismantled. But Judaism, or Jews, and Muslims are rising as their religion gains more followers. Now, the Jewish religion doesn't have that many followers. I think it's like 15 million worldwide or something like that. Whereas Christianity and Muslims are in the billions, right? So just keep that in mind, right? If I'm not, and 15 million does sounds like very little, but it's not a lot. And then there are different sects as well. But there are not that many Jew followers. I thought it was up there, but it isn't. When I looked it up, I was a little surprised. I was like, what the hell? But anyway, not the point. The point, guys, is that 15.7 million Jews worldwide, whereas Islam is 2 billion. Sorry, Christianity is 2.3 billion, and Hinduism is 1.2 billion followers. That is followers. Yeah, so again, guys, what is heading our way is bad. That's just the bottom line. And reading this story, and I was just like, why would you do that? I mean, like that, like, like the woman who threw her kid in the oven, and didn't know any better. Oh, I threw my kid in the oven. I thought I was putting a pot roast in a baby. It was a baby. She said, I thought I was putting a pot roast or a turkey or something like that in the oven. Really? You know a pot roast that's kicking and screaming? You know a pot roast that screams when you put it in the oven? Whatever. Can you report one good story in your Wednesday reports? No. I could find a good story to talk about, but no. These stories I do these stories now in the Midweek Report, guys, because these are the stories that are missed. And granted, so the satanic rituals that are going on right now are becoming more and more mainstream. There's a problem. I'm homesick with strep. Oh, okay. All right. I'll find a story. Let's see if I can find something nice and fluffy. There isn't any nice and fluffy. I don't do nice and fluffy. But just know, guys, that there is definitely a movement. And this movement is getting pretty bad. And we are ignoring this movement. And we need to pay attention. Because before you know it, man, we're going to turn around and we're going to be swamped by evil. We need to get ahead of the curve now, right? I think what we're missing is, again, letting this evil do its thing. And then telling people it's okay. Well, liberals telling us it's okay to believe in the devil, it's okay to do this, it's okay to, let Balenciaga and those companies, put out their secret hidden messages within their, modeling campaigns. Let's let that slide, that's okay. Again, going back to Candace Owens, this is the information she is just now getting into. Her little brain cannot handle what we've been handling for decades. I am 48 years old. I've been a conspiracy theorist since I was about 13, 14 years old. All right, so I've been in this shit for a long ass time. I've been able to process a lot of it because I was spoon-fed the stuff a little bit at a time. When you're somebody like, again, Candace Owens, who's older, and then she's finding out all this stuff, her brain doesn't know how to spit it out or cycle it and then spit it out accordingly, or at the very least, talk about it in a manner where people can get what she's saying. She can't do that. She doesn't have the capacity to do that. And I feel like she's going to break. And that's the problem. She's going to be like, fuck. Unfortunately, she's going to break. And when she does, people are going to be all over her. They'll be like, because they're calling her crazy now. And the problem is, I see why they're calling her crazy, because she doesn't know, again, how to process this information. Like I said, she's just new to it. And it's not like I'm going to reach out to her and tell her, yo, you need to pull back the reins just a little bit. And not for your safety or the threats, anything like that. She doesn't know what she's doing with this shit, this information. So she's like, my friend Charlie and the French and the Egyptians and this part. Now she's going too far. And you gotta seep that information in a little bit at a time. You can't sit there and be like, oh, and throw everything on everybody's plate. It looks like a mess when you do that, Yeah, and granted, listen, we all knew that the threats were coming. She had to have known the threats were coming. This is not a surprise. People are like, oh, they're threatening her life. Of course they are. She's over the target right now. When you're over the target, man, and they start threatening you, yo, you're on the right path. I know she's young, but she's too old to process the information she's getting now. Again, I've been doing this shit for like almost 40 years. If not, almost 40 years I've been doing this shit. The whole conspiracy theory with the moon, the whole conspiracy theory with Area 51, I've been in this shit. And dreaming and consciousness and where's your consciousness really? Where it goes at night, as it goes with like all of this shit. Been doing this shit forever. That's why I'm able to entertain any and all conspiracy theories without believing every last one of them. Because the problem with somebody like Candace Owens is that she's going to believe anything that sounds remotely good. She doesn't have the processing ability now to go, man, let me sit on this one. Let me not mention it yet and let me see where this goes. She's just spitting anything and everything that comes to her mind or that she learns about. She doesn't have the capacity to do so, man. I've always heard that was it Kubrick filmed the moon landing. But yeah, man, the moon landing thing is people it's starting to come up again because there was a Chinese scientist that stated we never went to the moon, and he did it by accident in an interview. He's like, we'll finally be able to get to the moon, which we've been trying to do for the last 40, 50 years. He said 50 years, sorry. He said 40, 50 years. So he admitted that we never went to the moon, and he said it without thinking about it. So, yeah, we've never been to the moon, and now people are starting to find out that, hell, maybe we didn't go to the moon. I know we didn't. There's just too many oddities with the moon landing. And the fact that we stopped going to the moon, when we had we been going to the moon, we would have already had a space station up there. That's how I know we didn't go to the moon. It's 2025. We would have had another city or a colony by now up there. But we didn't. So, anyway, that's just, moon conspiracy. And some people don't believe it. We went to the moon. I'm like, believe what you want. That movie, The First Man, with Ryan Gosling, which was a good movie, by way of filming it. But, yeah, we didn't go to the moon. And now and then even Obama said it. Even Obama said we'll be able to go to the moon with the new technology. Like now we'll be able to go to the moon with the new technology. So like even he slipped up. Then the fact that NASA lost all of their schematics on how to build the rockets to go to the moon. They lost all of that information. Really? It's 2025. How did you lose? Forget about it. Let's just say they lost all that information. Okay, let's come up with new shit. Let's come up with new technology to get us to the moon. It was bad. Maureen said we went to the moon. Again, people like Maureen believe we went to the moon. Listen, believe what you want. Dive deep enough, you'll find the answers there. Even, what's his name, the astronaut, was it Glenn? John Glenn? One of the astronauts stated, or Buzz, one of them stated we never went to the moon. He stated in multiple interviews that we never went to the moon. Like I said, man, believe what you want. I can't convince people of that. They have to dive deep on themselves. And Russia didn't go to the moon either. Russia stated, actually a cosmonaut stated why we never went to the moon. And he said because of the radiation belt. He goes, we would have died, all humans would have died going through that radiation belt. Was it Armstrong? Okay, it might have been Armstrong. And that's when he said that, everybody was like, there you go. Was it Buzz or was it... I think it was Buzz. I think it was Buzz Aldrin. I don't think it was Armstrong. I think the Apollo guys were hypnotized and they're thinking they went to the moon. Sort of like MK Ultra, but a lot less MK Ultra-ish. And they were hypnotized to think they went to the moon. That's why they a lot of them wholeheartedly believe they went. But that was the only one that went to the moon, and then no one else went. You know, they think there was one or two other missions, but then they stopped going to the moon. Stop that bullshit. It was Buzz. Thank you, guys. Again, Maureen, just look a little deeper into it. You're going to be shocked at what you find about the whole moon conspiracy theory. It's crazy. There's so many questions. So many questions. And again, the fact that NASA admitted last year or 2 years ago that they lost all the paperwork that built the shuttles to get to the moon. How do you lose that paperwork? You're NASA, for Christ's sakes. And not that they lost it. They have a warehouse that is ginormous. When I mean ginormous, guys, I'm talking about, if I'm not mistaken, it's either 2 or 3 city blocks long. It's about 2 city blocks wide. And there is nothing but files as far as the eye can see. They need transportation to move around in there. It's so huge. With all of the paperwork in there, it's fucking crazy how much shit is in there. So anyway, it's got to be in there somewhere. And in that paperwork, again, conspiracy theory, we're entering conspiracy theory realm, there is a ton of paperwork about aliens and whether or not they're real, right? And whether or not they're angels or not. There's a whole thing of that shit in there. It's crazy. When they showed the facility one time, and maybe it was a leaked photo, I don't know. And this is 30 years ago. This place was huge. I was like, forget, you lose paperwork in there, it's gone forever. Forever. You're never going to see it again. So maybe that's what they mean by it being lost. But that place is huge. Man, I'm like, and I wouldn't want to be the nerd working in there. Can you find me the file on moon landings, such and such, number 856912? And this guy's got to jump in his little vehicle, go find it? Fuck out of here. No, thank you. Anyway, with that being said, can you still mirror that? You can still use that mirror today. Anyway, guys, with that being said, I'm going to go off the air now. I went a little over. I have to go move my car before they give me more tickets. That's the downside of living in the city. Tickets, man. Some of these people are ticket happy, traffic cops. But anyway, I will be back on tonight for the double header. And then that's it. And then tomorrow's Thanksgiving. So if you guys join me later tonight, great. If not, enjoy your Thanksgiving and your weekend. And I will see some of you guys later tonight. Other than that, guys, appreciate it.